Good morning, Quackhawks, and I am so happy to be back for another reading day. Make sure that if you have a copy of The Little Prince, that you get into The Little Prince. I may have written that we're in chapter 5. We're actually in chapter 6, right after the Baobabs. All right, everybody, thank you so much for being here today for our reading day. This chapter of The Little Prince is incredibly short, but it's also very, very important, I think, for the context that we're in today. So I want to talk about it a little bit beforehand and also a little bit afterwards while we're reading. The whole idea is that the little prince comes from a little tiny planet. And on that little tiny planet, he can wander around and he has very little to do. I think that that resonates with the situation that we're in right now. Our world is small. Our world is incredibly small. And the pleasures that we find in our world, the things that we like to do, are kind of hard to find. We have to find things that we can do regularly that make us excited, even if they're really small things. And so something like playing a video game can be the highlight of your entire day. Whereas before, playing a video game was the way to get out of or the way to de-stress from what you were doing for most of your day, which was going to school, right? And so now we have to look at the things that we do and the little pleasures as actually defining our entire lives. And that can be a little bit difficult for us. I think it's definitely been difficult for me as I watch more and more television and I stop feeling like it's a treat or it's a nice thing, and I start feeling more like it's just the day in and day out. And I wanted to talk a little bit about what this day in and day out feeling is. When you think of a day and how it passes, one of the things that we use to signify a day is this idea of a sunrise or a sunset, right? The sun rises, a new day is beginning, a sunset, and the new day has ended, right? So as we think about days, I look at the sunrise and I think about how spectacular it is. We talk about how beautiful a great sunrise is, or we talk about how beautiful a great sunset is. And we look at that as this defining part that only happens once in a day. You can only get one sunset in a day. What are those special things that you've given yourself? Those special things that you do only once in a day, that define your day, that make your day special, right? And then what happens when you do those things over and over and over again? Well, it's no longer special in the context of a week. Now you have 7 of them. It's no longer special in the context of a year. Now you have 365. And then you start losing out on the special things. So we look at special holidays. This day only comes once a year, or this day only comes once every 4 years. So what are those things that you've made special about your day? And have you started to consume them too much? Have you started to use them over and over and over again? With that being said, join me in chapter 6 of Little Prince. Oh, little prince, gradually this was how I came to understand your sad little life. For a long time, your only entertainment was the pleasure of sunsets. I learned this new detail on the morning of the 4th day, when you told me, I really like sunsets. Let's go look at one now. Oh, but we have to wait. What for? For the sun to set. At first you seemed quite surprised, and then you laughed at yourself. And you said to me, I think I'm still at home. Indeed, when it's noon in the United States, the sun, as everyone knows, is setting over France. If you could fly to France in 1 minute, you could watch the sunset. Unfortunately, France is much too far. But on your tiny planet, all you had to do was move your chair a few feet, and you would watch the twilight whenever you wanted to. One day, I saw the sun set 44 times. And a little later you added, you know, when you're feeling very sad, sunsets are wonderful. On the day of the 44 times, were you feeling very sad? But the little prince didn't answer. When we look at this chapter, I think many of us are stuck in a very small planet. I think that we're looking at these things that we used to do only once in a day, and we're doing them over and over again. I think also many of us are very sad. When you have a rough day, you can't go down the street and treat yourself to boba. You're stuck at home to the same food that's in the pantry and in the fridge. You are stuck in the situation that you're in. So it's really difficult for you to find the things that make your life feel like it has variety. And it's really difficult for you to find a way to relieve some of that stress. But the stress is still real. The sadness is still real. The feeling that you have right now is still real. It's just that you don't know how to cope with it anymore. So what I want you guys to do is spend today reading a book. I know that that sounds like exactly what I was going to say no matter what, but I want you guys to take some time to read a book and use that as an escape. This is a special day. It comes once a week. This is the day where you read. Maybe you read for 15 minutes, maybe you read for an hour, maybe you read for the entire day. But let today be like a sunset, a special thing. And let yourself indulge in it as much as you possibly can. Because these days don't come every day. This isn't the same sort of thing. This is a special day made just for reading. With that being said, I hope you all get a good book. If you don't have The Little Prince, that's a great one to pick up. Go to the Sora app if you are looking for a book, or just pick any one off of the group of books you might have at home. I don't know what a bookcase is called anymore. Bookshelf, right? Hopefully you have some books lying around. With that being said, smack your claps, smack your taps, and don't forget to yell quack. Quack.